Tell us about the worst injury you ever got.
I was trying to front big off the 5 block there at the Islands. And I just landed with my foot on the edge of the nose and like right on the tip of it, so it just slid off and I did the splits. And I basically just landed with my leg down in a twisting motion. It hurt, but not like where I was in agonizing pain. I was like, I need to be in the hospital right away. I was like, oh, I can't walk, I can't put weight on it, it was bumming me out. But the thing is, it's been happening, like a lot with me before that time. I was like, my knee had already been hurting. It was actually a lot of micro tears. It was just like one bail too many. That was a bad bail. San Francisco, born and raised, but now I'm living in Marin City. Growing up in SF was pretty nice. I mean, I went into foster care when I was 6 years old, so I didn't grow up in SF for that long. I went to like Antioch and Sacramento. I moved back in 7th grade, so from then on out, from 7th till 10th grade, I lived in SF.
So when did you start skating?
I think right when I discovered Potrero, like right when I got into foster care. I know I said I got into foster care when I was 6, but I was really 7 because I was in a couple group homes first.
So, like, how'd you end up in foster care originally?
I ended up there, I mean, it's kind of complicated, but I was in a group home. I was supposed to go back with my family. Then our house ended up burning down. It was my dad's house that we were all living at. He died of AIDS when I was 3, so I really don't remember him. So after he passed, it's like, they were fucked pretty much,
Where'd she go after the house was burned down?
I mean, just keep it real, she was like always in treatment places. She never had her own place.
Where was your grandma at this time?
She had gotten her own place, but it was like a little hole in the wall. There was like not enough space. She wasn't allowed to have anybody else over anyway. Later in life, I found out like alcohol abuse and drug use, and I found out like my grandma being sober, my mom using a lot of stuff. My mom, I remember, would be acting like a fucking Looney Tunes character sometimes as a little kid, and I'd be freaked out. Or like I couldn't wake her up sometimes. I would be like up for hella hours, and I'd be trying to wake her up.
Shit.
And yeah, I'd be like hella scared.
Did the court like order you to like be in foster home at that point?
When I went to my first year at kindergarten, they could see, like the teachers could see something was going on at home, and the social worker got brought into the picture, and then he ended up finding out like stuff, It was a word of the court. I mean, I was supposed to be in that group home for 6 months, but once the house burned down, she was supposed to just like get a stable living situation, and then also prove like her sobriety. All she had to do was get out of the outpatient program and like find her own housing, and she still didn't end up changing anything with her life, And for my mom, she had government money coming in, but it was like she just couldn't get her shit together. So neither of them could take care of me. So I went to Edgewood, and then I went to Bert's. The Edgewood campus out there, that shit's pretty crazy, Like kids just sleeping there, going to school there, eating there. I guess it would be like what like a boot camp or like going to the military would be like, or being in jail, shit. Everybody's waking up at the same time, And you could just say, oh, it's the school bell, But I mean literally, like everything in your entire day is timed out, And then there's only staff members. There's nobody that's going to act like a parent towards you. So that's the weirdest part about it, is that like maybe the most human interaction you'll have is when you're at the cafeteria and you talk to the lunch lady. There's only like security guards and then employees for like this. So Edgewood, all the kids there are like growing up like aliens compared to the rest of the kids, You could develop this depression during that time that lasts with you and affects your whole life from there. Just because you didn't have the right kind of human interactions in your life,
Yeah.
You just weren't talking to anybody. I think once they found out the house burned down, I went to Bert's, and it was much worse. Like Edgewood, they at least like are making sure the kids are safe, but in Bert's, they were not. Like the security just wasn't doing their job, That's pretty much it. Just making sure that kids weren't fucking with other kids, like abusing them, like physically or sexually. And it's scary too, because you don't know like if the person who's threatening you is serious about it, which is like he was saying he was gonna stab me, he was gonna kill me if I told anybody.
Wow.
And he didn't end up doing that. I did end up telling somebody, but he ended up just like bashing my head on the ground.
Oh my god.
I ended up getting knocked out and going to the hospital, and sports ended up getting shut down because they ended up looking into other things that were going on. I had 37 different placements on record. So up until 7 till 15. Honestly, I had so many homes just because of my behavioral issues. I just tend to be like really just argumentative with the adults in my life, and I think that's why I bounced around a lot.
So you're saying that the parents would not give you very much attention?
No, like, you know, they have their own family and stuff to worry about, and I'm like a source of income that like helps them with shit.
In foster care, it's hard to always skate though.
Definitely, very challenging to get any time. But I got into skating again back in 7th grade. I just remember like bouncing around to a lot of homes and only getting to skate like, you know, occasionally.
How often would you skate back then? So when you were younger?
Yeah, I think I would progressively get more into it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, from like 7 to 12, I had some time where like I was really into skating and spent time skating. I just hadn't really got any better that much, you know. Like I definitely had improved, but like, to me at that time it seemed like I hadn't. And then I just like tried to like fit in a lot of time hanging out by the Young Museum and skating. And just practicing my flat stuff, shove its 180s, kick flips, like trying to like learn flip tricks on like flat ground, and then like ledge tricks, taking flip tricks to stairs, and then ramps like came like way later. I wanted to get good at all parts of skating, you know?
That flow state when you're skating. Can you kind of describe what that feels like?
It would be that my mind is unable to think. It's not that it's unable to, it doesn't care to. Maybe I have a line in my mind or I have a few tricks. The line is just multiple tricks back to back. I have like some sort of goal in mind before I'm trying it, and then when I actually like get into the flow of skating, and because I'm gonna land it, right? I'm gonna keep grinding for it with all this thoughtful intention until I land it, and then once I land it, like, I stop worrying about all that shit, and I just like nothing's on my mind but just like one trick after another, just try to do as many tricks in a row as I can, just skating around, you know, from one thing to the other, wherever I end up. Sometimes, you know, I'll land a trick, unintentionally be swerving some way, and I'm like, okay, I'm going over here now. Just work wherever I'm headed. I could just like go wherever I want, any line, and that's part of the fun of it. It's like all so smooth. It's not like I have to put thought into it, you know?
Would you say that skating is like your primary way of like relieving stress and like, you know, yeah?
Definitely. Like smoking weed is a great stress reliever, but it could also like give you anxiety. It could like really stress you out. Like your mind is like everything, right? And skating like taps into your mind and body and your spirit. Like it taps into you. When I think of skateboarding's happiness that it gives you, I think of a piece of the quiet of your mind that you don't get. Like when you listen to music and you're giving it all your attention, you get that quiet in your mind, you know? And that's what skating is. You're giving it all your attention.
So when you do something that's really hard for you, what does that feeling feel like?
It's just so satisfying. It's like you just did it clean and you're flowing for the next trick. You're not dwelling on that moment. But I try to train myself always, like whenever I'm super satisfied with something, to like keep going, keep the line going always. Don't like get too caught up.
What do you think the difference is like when you're like skating by yourself or skating with friends?
You get hyped up with buddies sometimes, you know? You're like extra hyped when you got the homies around, you know? You're just doing a lot more than you normally do. Just going in, trying all this crazy stuff. It has the hype potential definitely for getting savage clips too.
So when you were 15 then, what happened when you were 15? When you left the foster care system?
Well, yeah, I was just staying at home where shit wasn't working out, and I was just really tired. The person always taking my board away, you know. I had gotten more into skating at that point, you know, and then I had decided like, okay, I really want to be a pro skater. I'm gonna make sure I'd like gotten serious, you know. And my foster parent would take away my board like off the smallest little things, like because I didn't do like finished homework on time, or because I was late to school or something like that. He found out a teacher like I skipped a class or whatever, and it's because I wanted to skate more. But after that time, I decided I would skate every day, and I would just be homeless rather than be around him, you know.
Tell us about the worst injury you ever got.
I was trying to front big off the 5 block there at the Islands, and yeah, I just landed landed with my foot on the edge of the nose and like right on the tip of it, so it just slid off and I did the splits. And I basically just landed with my leg down in a twisting motion. Hurting my knee is pretty much just a catalyst for me to like put a lot more thought into skating and really like just balance my time to find like what's the right amount and to spend my time on something else that I really like. You know, something I want to work on that's gonna help me like have more time to skate, basically. And I thought like making beats and making music would help.
So like, how long could you not skate for when you toured it?
I couldn't skate for a year, man. But I'd say like 8 months into it, I was like off the crutches and trying to like do things on it more. You know, I couldn't use my knee for so many months, dude. Honestly, like 5 or 6 months, like I really couldn't use it at all.
So how'd you end up here?
My knee ended up getting hurt, and I went to General Hospital, and that was where I was born, and they had a number for my grandma there. They ended up calling my grandma, and like, you know, because I'm a minor, so I'm not allowed to be like, yes, put me, like I need surgery, you know.
Yeah.
And so they needed to get my grandma and ask for her approval. I hadn't even talked to her in how long, and she was like, yes, and she'll be there right away. I came here, and it wasn't legal. Like I wasn't supposed to be with my mom or grandma at all, but I ended up talking to my social worker because she was asking where I was at. Miss Love was like, okay, I think I can work something out where you can still live with your family even though you're not supposed to.
So yeah, sweet. So you were here, and then like you can basically convince your social worker to let you stay here.
Yeah,
right?
to
like,
let my older brother watch me till I'm 18.